Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Bienvenidos, señoras y señores. This is ICAO's 13th Air Navigation Conference, Day 3, Session number 10. For those who have not seen all of our presentations, I invite you to go to YouTube, type in ICAO SkyTalks, and you'll be able to view the full list of the 29 presentations that we have for you from industry leaders and from technical specialists. So I suggest that you go in and check them out. Now, you know how IT is supposed to help us with our everyday life. For example, these are supposed to be easy to navigate, but then you always seems to be learning new apps. It's kind of the same thing for those who come into ICAO's website and are navigating through all the plethora of information that we have out there. To talk more about one of the solutions that we have called iSTARS, which is the Integrated Safety Trend and Reporting System, we have our specialist, Stacey Syne, who works at the Air Navigation Bureau at ICAO, to tell you more about the system. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for coming. This is my presentation entitled iSTARS, News and Updates on the Well-Known ICAO System. So what is iSTARS? iSTARS is a web-based system found on the ICAO Secure portal. It hosts web applications which make safety, efficiency, and risk analyses, and all are aligned to data-driven decision-making. Who could use iSTARS? Anyone could use iSTARS. It is free of charge and open to any category of user. Should you be from the CAA, airline, investors, private citizens, and even students. So web applications on iSTARS are based on a collection of safety and efficiency data sets collected from various sources such as Jeppesen, Flight Global, ASN, IATA, and ICAO itself. These data sets are then assembled in the API data service. And this is an example of what a data set looks like. To the average person, it may look like a jumble of characters, letters, and numerals all squished in together. But what iSTARS does is provide a user-friendly graphical interface which turns this data into useful information, such as charts and graphs shown in the USUP Report app, and one of my favorite apps, the State Safety Briefing app, which shows indicators on the performance dashboard. It gives an idea of the CAP progress of a state as well as its USUP audit results. So I'll go ahead now and talk a little bit about some of the new apps available on iSTARS. And the first of which I'll talk about is contingency planning, which is meant to be an aid for airspace closures. It provides an indicative estimation of the effect on traffic flows when an FIR is closed. So as we see in the screenshot on the right-hand side, the orange lines represent in the FIR Kabul inbound, outbound, as well as overflight. So orange is overflight, inbound, outbound would be your green lines, and blue would be domestic flights. What should happen, or the question which arises, what would happen should this zone be closed? So this app offers a simulation which shows, according to the shortest route to avoid this FIR, where planes would be diverted to. Also, a figure is available to show the workload, be it increased or decreased, on surrounding FIRs as well. The SSP Foundation app is also a new one. It shows the status of the SSP Foundation protocol questions, which is a subset of 299 out of all used in USUP audits, and is calculated using validated PQs from audit activities, as well as those which are completed on the USOP CMA online framework, also known as the OLF to many of us. So this is an example of the graphical representation, as well as this handy tool with the SSP Foundation PQ list, where one could see all the PQs, those which have been validated, CAP completed, and those which are still unsatisfactory. Moving on, another app new to iSTARS is risk-based surveillance. And this app creates a data-driven inspection schedule for operations. The app consists of a drop-down menu where we choose our operator, as well as a questionnaire and a calculation for various levels such as safety performance and operational complexity is calculated, as well as a schedule for risk-based inspection based on a period of 1 year, except for the base inspection, which is based on a period of 3. The Air Transport Accessibility app is aligned to the UN Sustainable Development Goal Target 9.1, which deals with the development of reliable, sustainable, and resilient regional transborder infrastructure. It measures the fraction of a state's population living within 100 kilometers of an aerodrome and gives a graphical representation of this indicator, as well as a comparison with an iSTARS group or a custom group of your choice, which you could make in the iSTARS Group Manager. I'll now go ahead to talk about some of the updates which have been made on existing apps in iSTARS. So with the SSP Gap Analysis app, we expect updates to be made within the next 3 months, and the questionnaire will now be aligned to the 4th edition of the Safety Management Manual, as well as the 2nd edition of Annex 19. So as we could see, the new questions are color-coded in blue, and also SSP Foundation results would be added according to the components of the State Safety Program, which could give value for comparison. So now I'll go ahead to talk a little bit about briefings, of which 3 are very frequently used by myself and others. They are the airport, state safety, and regional safety briefings. And these briefings give a snapshot of the state of aviation safety and air transport. And they could also help to facilitate communication among those who make policies, as well as stakeholders in the aviation industry to help them guide choices during decision making. So some updates have been made to the 2018 State Safety Briefing app. I would like to stress that both the old app and the new version are available in iSTARS for use. And between them, there are 15 sections collectively. 9 of the sections remain in the new 2018 State Safety Briefing app. 5 have been added and 1 removed. And I'll take some time to go through all of these sections. So the performance dashboard with the list of indicators remains, but with the new dashboard, there are 4 more indicators, such as CAP progress, GAT activities, and safety margins, in addition to the SSP Foundation indicator. There's also a new section on the certificate badge. If your state has addressed several safety oversight deficiencies, and providing that your overall EI is over 60% and the increase has been 15% or more for your EI, you will be awarded a Council President Certificate badge. USOP results remains the same, and the traffic pattern section has been removed, whereas the USOP CAP progress has been added along with safety margins. Moving on, certain sections remain the same, such as significant safety concerns, certification of international aerodromes, and safety partner programs. Also remaining the same are sections on SSP and PBN implementation, whereas, as mentioned before, we have a small section on SSP Foundation and GATT activities. And to round out the State Safety Briefing Report, fatal accident statistics and state aviation activity overview remain. Okay, so I'll move on to the airport and regional safety briefings. For the airport briefings, it begins with a map, followed by a performance dashboard with traffic stats, annual departures, followed by international operations, which give you the top 5 destinations, as well as the top 5 airlines which service the state. Runways and PBN, safety oversight and aerodrome certification, capacity and usage, the terrain challenge, meteorological conditions, and wind conditions, with particular emphasis on tailwind landings. We move on to the regional safety briefing, and as with the other two, it starts with a performance dashboard, followed by USOP results and an interstate comparison, information on those states which have significant safety concerns and restrictions on the safety partner programs, accident statistics, and regional priorities, which break down the top 5 states in the region which may be most in need of help for certain areas such as air navigation, support functions, and operations. So now we see what information iSTARS offers. I move on to say ways in which we could now use this information and by whom. So utilization by civil aviation authorities may be quite common because information on the performance dashboard in particular could give access to a snapshot on the performance or activities utilizing numerical figures with these indicators. And as my colleague Manoush described in her SkyTalk, indicators provide specific information on the status, level, or condition of something. And this ties into the acceptable level of safety performance mentioned in Annex 19 and the 4th edition of the Safety Management Manual. The tourism industry may also find information offered by the state safety briefing apps quite useful. So for example, in the state aviation activity overview, we see that, and this is the state safety briefing for Canada, of the 13 international airports, Leicester B. Pearson has been the busiest with respect to scheduled commercial departures in 2017. So as a business owner or an investor, I may want to ask, is there enough traffic for me to open a restaurant or hotel? For the airport authorities, they may also want to ask, should we upgrade the facilities to not only encourage investment, but also to handle the capacity of passengers? The state and also tour operators may be interested in the IOSA airline list, which shows those airlines which belong to a state which have been certified by IATA. And this is quite important for those persons and business owners who organize tour packages for their clients. We would want to choose the safest airlines and the most reputable for them to travel with. Additionally, these figures, the reports year by year, should a state be keeping them, it could be used as a possible indicator for the success of the tourism sector. The airport briefing shows the top 5 destinations and top 5 airlines. Looking at these reports year by year, a state could determine if their marketing strategies to reach certain countries, example in Europe or North America, are working. Also, it would be useful for the Ministry of Tourism in planning ground transportation for passengers, as well as managing airport staff to cope with peak hours. Airlines and pilots may also find information provided by these briefings quite useful. Environmental conditions are provided. For example, in Trinidad, the Northern Range accounts for the peak in the graph in terrain challenge. Meteorological conditions and tailwind landings per runway, runways and PBN. And airlines may also want to ask, are existing or new routes viable? Is there a niche market available to pursue? For example, we see in the top 5 destinations for Grantley Adams International Airport, Piarco, as well as Gatwick. Airlines may probably want to ask, are the persons boarding planes from Piarco not disembarking in Bridgetown, but going directly to Gatwick? Maybe a direct flight from Piarco International Airport to London Gatwick might be viable for us. And regional bodies may also find this useful. COSCAPs, RSOs, RASCs, and PIGs. They all collaborate and share resources, supporting no country left behind. RASCs in particular, they develop and implement work programs that support a regional performance framework for the management of safety on the basis of the GASP. So here's where the regional safety briefing comes in quite handy. It gives a comparison. It gives a quick snapshot of those states which have SSEs as well as restrictions. And as I mentioned before, it gives safety margin indicator values for the top 5 states which are in most of need in different priority areas. Additionally, in the future, according to the GASP objectives and priorities, the role of RASCs will be changed, not only to share and collaborate and distribute information, but also to help with managing safety programs. So we could learn more about iSTARS. The Integrated Aviation Analysis section offers an iSTARS and data analysis workshop so that you could learn more about this platform as well as data-driven decision-making. The target audience would be safety analysts and managers, SSP and SMS analysts, as well as those dealing with accident data. The workshop comprises 4 days and is at a cost of US $5,000, plus the cost of travel and daily subsistence allowance as per ICAO travel rules. And should you have any questions or comments on any of the iSTARS apps you've seen before or the workshop, please contact istars@icao.int. And I'd like to round out this presentation with this statement that iSTARS apps allows for the multidimensional application of information and indicators to real-life scenarios. It's a very versatile, powerful tool, which could be used for passenger travel, tourism implications, environmental considerations, economic payoffs, and strategy and policy issues pertaining to aviation safety. So thank you very much for attending. I appreciate it very much.